Good afternoon to one and all. I am R.V. Kiran, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. Today in this video lecture, I am going to explain you about the law of bearing and velocity of sliding. So, two important topics in the fifth unit, that is in the first part of the fifth unit, that is in the gates. So, many times the topic has been asked in the University Board of Examinations, that is in the JNTUK University examinations, law of gearing. So they have asked for the 10 marks question. So it is a very important topic regarding to the topic as well as for the board exam also. And this is my 66th lecture regarding to the subject kinematics of machinery. So first coming to the law of bearing. So this is the condition for the constant velocity ratio of the two three wheels. So it is known as the law of gearing. So this law of gearing statement states that the condition must be fulfilled by the two gear tooth profiles in which they are meshing with each other and to maintain a constant angular velocity between the two gears. So here you have to provide the angular velocity ratio, that is the constant angular velocity ratio between the two gears. So there must be some bonding or meshing between these two gears. You can see it in the picture also. So this is the one gear wheel and this is the second gear wheel in which these are going to be meshed, and it has a common tangent point, that is the TT, in which we have drawn it as the dotted lines. So this is to maintain a constant angular velocity ratio between the two gears. And the figure shows the two bodies, that is the two gears which are going to be meshed. That is the gear one, that the gear one representing a portion of the two gears in mesh. So which are going to be meshing with each other at 2 points. And next, a point C on the tooth profile of the gear 1 is in contact with a point D on the tooth profile of the gear 2. So here the point C on the tooth profile of the gear 1 is in contact with the point D of the tooth profile of the gear 2. So this is the point C and this is the point D. This has to be in contact with the two gears, and these two curves in contact at point must have a common normal at that point. So this is the tangent and this is the normal which is perpendicular to the points C and D. So the point for the points C and D, it has a common normal at the point, and let it be the n position. So you can see in the picture also, this is the n and this is the n, this is the normal which is perpendicular to the tangent T, and like omega 1 is the instantaneous angular velocity of the gear 1, that is the CW position. So it is the instant angular velocity of the gear 1, so which is moving in the clockwise direction. So the bracket indicates the clockwise direction of the gear module. So in which it is represented as the omega 1. So omega 1 represents the angular velocity, that is instantaneous angular velocity of the gear 1. And next omega 2. So this is the omega 2 angular velocity. So it represents the instantaneous angular velocity of the gear 2. So that is the instantaneous angular velocity of the gear 2. So it is represented as the counterclockwise, that is anti-clockwise direction. So when two gears are going to be measured with each other, the directions they can be followed is in opposite directions. So when one gear is used to rotate in the clockwise direction, the next gear is used to rotate in the anti-clockwise direction only. So that is the criteria when we have to follow by measuring it with the two gears. And next, Vc is the linear velocity of the point C. So it is the linear velocity. Vc means velocity of C. That is linear velocity of C. And next, Vd represents the linear velocity of D. So the Vd line represents the linear velocity of the point D. So it represents the linear velocity of the direction point D. So that is Vc and Vd. So Vc represents the linear velocity of C and Vd represents the linear velocity of D. So in the picture you can see the two triangles, that is FDB and AEC. It consists of two triangles. Then we need to find the linear velocities of these both gears. Then Vc represents the, so velocity of the C point represents the angular velocity of the first gear into AC. So AC is the base in which the gear is used to be moved. So that is the base of the gear. So then we are going to indicate it as omega 1 into AC. So that represents the direction. So in a direction which is perpendicular to AC or at an angular, that is at an angle which represents the alpha to N. So Nn is the position which represents the normal. So that represents the normal position. So next we are going to calculate the VD, that is the linear velocity of the point D. So it is represented in the direction perpendicular to D. So this is the D line, and the line velocity line is perpendicular to D line. And when you are going to take the velocity of the C point, that line also is perpendicular to the C point. So when we are going to take the velocity of B, that is omega 2 into BD. So omega 2 is the angular velocity of the second gear, and BD is the baseline. So this is the BD line to be calculated. So this is in the direction which is perpendicular to BD. So these angular BD, the velocity of D is perpendicular to the line BD or at an angle beta to NN. So that represents the angle beta. So you can see the angle here. So this is the angle beta, which is the angle to normal NN. So NN is the normal. Now, if the curved surfaces of the teeth of the two gears has to be remain in constant. So we know the velocities and we know the angular forms from the normals. That is the to the two normals. Then we are going to take the two gears has to be remain in constant. Now, one surface of the gear may slide over the other gear through the common tangent TT. So this is the tangent TT, and this gear must be slide on the second gear. So that is one point of concern. Next, the relative distance, that is the relative motion between the surfaces along the common normal must be zero. So that must be zero. That is the NN position must be zero to avoid the separation. So it is used to avoid the separation, or the penetration of the two teeth into each other. So that must be the penetration of the two teeth which is into connection to the each other. So next we are going to see the component of VC along the line NN, that is the normal line. So we can take it as, already we take it as a point VC into cos alpha. So alpha is the angle. Then we take it as cos alpha, that is VC cos alpha. Then for the similarity, same component, that is VD, which is along the normal line, that is NN line, it is taken as VD cos beta. So that is to the Vd cos beta. Then the relative motion along the normal line, that is the NL line, is taken as V velocity of the point C cos alpha minus velocity of the cos beta. So that is to be taken as velocity of the point B. Then we are going to draw the perpendiculars, that is AE and BF. So the AE and BF on the normal lines. So these are the two curves which is to be made, and this is the normal line. From this normal line, we are going to draw the AE line and BF line, which is at right angles to each other. Then triangle CA is taken as, so triangle CAE. So CA and E is taken as the angle alpha, and DBF, that is DB and F, is taken as beta. So these are the 2 points taken. Then for proper constant value, so that is a constant value, we can take as VC cos alpha minus VD cos beta. So it is taken as cos alpha minus cos beta. So that is VC cos alpha minus cos beta. Then we are going to elaborate this condition. So for the VC, we have the omega 1 into AC cos alpha, and for VD it is omega 2 into VD. So by substituting all these values, we are going to take cos alpha as AE by AC. So cos alpha means AE by AC. So this is the perpendicular side, sorry, adjacent side by opposite side, that is AE by AC minus. So similar condition for the cos beta condition also, that is BF by BD, that is opposite side by adjacent side. Next it is taken as, so AC and AC has to be cancelled at this point. So AC and AC. Next here BD and BD. So these conditions has to be cancelled. Then omega 1 into AE minus omega 2 into BF is equal to 0. So that is equal to 0. Then omega 1 and omega 2 has to be taken to the left side. That is omega 1 by omega 2 is equal to BF by AE. BF by AE. So it is also can be taken as BP by AP condition also. Next, so from the triangles AEP and BFP. So BP is the center point between the two gates, that is a meshing point. So we are going to take the two triangles, that is the AEP and BFP. So from these triangles, we can take the two sides, that is BP by AP. That is the similar sides, that is BP by AP. That is equal to FP by EP. So EP is the second position. So FP by EP. So these are the two conditions. Then it is seen that center line EAB is divided at P. So this has been, AB line has been divided at the point P by the common normal in the inverse ratio. So this has to be common point at the inverse ratio. So this has to be the inverse ratio of the angular velocity of the two gates. So that is the common normal. And if it has to be desired for the two gates, which is going to be constant. So we have already seen that in the first slide itself, that the two gate remains constant for the angular velocity. So in the condition of the angular velocities, the two gates must be remain constant. And the common normal at the point of contact of the two gates should always pass through a fixed point. So the common normal at the contact of the two teeth point should always pass through a fixed point P. So that should be the fixed point P, which divides the line of centers in the inverse ratio of angular velocity of the two waves. So that must be the inverse ratio of the 2 points of gaze. That is the common point is the point P, and as seen earlier, the P point is also the point of contact of two pitch circles. So that is also the point of contact of two pitch circles, which divides the line of centers in the inverse ratio of the angular velocities of two circles, and it is called as the pitch point. So this is called as the pitch point condition also, and thus for the two constant angular velocity ratios of two waves, the common normal at the point of contact of the two mating teeth must pass through the pitch point. So this must pass through the pitch point. So the two mating teeth must pass through the pitch point condition. Then the two mating teeth must pass through the pitch point P. So that is the only condition, and it has a constant velocity condition. So it has to be in the constant velocity condition also. So that is the only condition of the pitch points which are in the uh, two angular velocities. So that must be in the two angular velocity of the conditions. So here we can see it in the picture also. They have these consist of two triangles, which it commonly consists of the line AB and the common point P. So that is about the law of gearing. So see it for a while. Next we go to the velocity of sliding motion. So next one is about the velocity of sliding. So what is the sliding point of the condition of gearing? it is defined as the if the curved surfaces of the two teeth. So here you can see the curved surfaces in the each teeth of the gaze 1 and 2, which has to be remain in contact. Then one can have a sliding motion. So that can have a sliding motion of the other value and which remains to be constant of the two gaze. And that is related to another which is having a common tangent T. So Tt is the common tangent point at points C and D. At the point C and D, we are going to take the common tangent line as Tt. Then component of VC along the direction Tt. So along the line Tt, a component of velocity of C. So VC indicates the velocity of C point. Then it is taken as VC sine alpha and VD sine beta. So the component of the VC, that is the velocity of the contact C along the Tt point, is taken as VC sine alpha, and the component for the velocity of the point D is taken as Vd sine beta. So that is taken as Vd sine beta. Then it should be taken as the relative motion with along the line NN. So that is the relative motion between the 2 points. So it is taken as Vc sine alpha minus Vd sine beta. So this can be taken as Vc sine alpha minus Vd sine beta. Then we are going to take the, first of all, elaborate the equation from the given condition. Then we are going to find the correct one. So for the VC, it is taken as omega 1 AC into EC by AC. So in the previous condition, that is the law of gearing condition, we are going to take the two values. And then for the second condition, it is omega 2 into BD, that is FD by BD. For the two conditions, it should be taken as So that must be the omega 2 into BD FD by BD condition. So it is denoted as omega 1 into VC. So while taking the action, that is AC and AC has been cancelled, and here BD and BD has been cancelled. Therefore, omega 1 into EC minus omega 2 into FD. So these are the two conditions here. Then we have to elaborate the condition now. So EC can be written as, so this is the EC condition. It is written as, so EP plus PC. So P is the center point between two conditions, that is EP plus PC. So here EP plus PC has been written minus omega 2 into FP minus FD. So for the FD condition, so this is the FD condition, it is taken as FP minus PD. So when you are going to take the FD condition, it is taken as FP minus PD. So this is the P point here. Then omega 1 into EP plus omega 1 into PC. So these are the two conditions, minus omega 2 into FP. So minus into minus plus omega 2 into PC. So PD can also be written as PC also, because they both are the two conditions. So C and D are the coincident points there. Then it can be taken as omega 1 plus omega 2. So omega 1 and omega 2 are the two angular velocity conditions with regarding to the PC plus omega 1 into EP minus omega 2 into FP. So these are the total condition, and you can see the elaboration of this condition into omega 1 by omega 2 is taken as BF by AE. Then so that is omega 1 by omega 2 is taken as BF by AE. Then some of the angular velocities is taken as, that is omega 1 minus into EP minus omega 2 into FT. So that is taken as omega 1 by omega 2. This condition has been taken from these 2 points. Then by taking cross, by multiplying the cross section, we can take it as, so omega 1 into EP. So in place of BF by AE, it is taken as FP by EP. Then omega 1 into EP is equal to omega 2 into FP. So here it is taken as the sum of the angular velocities into distance between the pitch point and the point of contact. So this is the fixed point condition and the point of contact condition. So these are the velocity of sliding nature condition. So velocity of sliding nature condition. So by this, I am going to end my class. Thank you.